Oh yes, you are welcome back to African Colonization TV and Biafran History. In today's video, let's dive in. The top, according to the heading, it says, Nnamdi Kanu replies Trump if Igbo will accept Middle Belt in a new country, which is Biafra, as Nigerian government panic. So the Donald Trump, Nnamdi Kanu has replied Donald Trump concerning this issue of if the Middle Belts, if they are going to join the Biafran nation, if they are leaving the country as a new nation. So in this video, you are going to see everything by yourself, the message and the what that Nnamdi Kanu said during his message to Donald Trump. So this our brother here is going to explain to us a lot of things that is going on. And the last court session that Nnamdi Kanu went, and this recent last court they went to, and the issue of panicking. You know, every little now and then, the Nigerian government, they used to be panic because they don't know the next step and they don't know what will happen next. And if you look very well, that is why they run very fast and they went and they list out IPOB and the Simon Ekpa and some of other Igbo men and women into terrorist list, so that whenever the US is coming into Nigeria, they should be looking into the southeast in the name of there is a terrorist beside there, and also they should be looking Nnamdi Kanu as a terrorist. So that is why they now run and they list out IPOB and the Simon Ekpa and other people that is agitating and that is speaking for the masses concerning the injustice and concerning what the government is doing that is not right. So that whenever anything were to happen, that then the government, that the US should go to Southeast and also start throwing bomb and the rest of them. In fact, the country is very, very hot right now, the way things is happening everywhere. I would like you to watch the video, don't skip any parts, try to watch to the end for you to understand everything that is happening in the video. I was about to watch, like, subscribe and share it for everyone to see things going on in Nigeria.
So guys, yesterday I did a video where I told you guys that Donald Trump and the United States Congress are asking Nnamdi Kanu and Igbos if they will allow the Middle Beltans to join them if eventually, they create this particular safe zone that they want to create for especially Christians in the Middle Belt. And I got a whole lot of reactions, which I'm going to show you that some Igbos are not even happy. They started, saying one or two things. But in this particular video, we are going to see what Nnamdi Kanu, said about allowing the Middle Beltans from Benue, Kogi, and other Middle Belt areas to come and join the Igbos if eventually the United States creates this particular safe zone. We are going to see what Nnamdi Kanu said. But meanwhile, let us try to read the comments of some people yesterday. Some people started saying that the Middle Beltans should not, as a matter of fact, come to the Igbo land, that they were part of the people that the Nigerian government used to fight the Biafra war or fight against the Igbos during the 1967 Biafra war. That the Middle Belt, we are the major people that the Nigerian government used, and for that reason that they should bear their consequences, that the Igbos should not accommodate the Middle Beltans. Some other Igbos said they are welcome, that since they are majority Christians, that the Christian part of the Middle Belt should actually come and join the Igbos. While some Igbos are still angry that these people betrayed them during the Biafra Civil War of 1967. We are going to analyze all these things here. But meanwhile, let us start from what Nnamdi Kanu said. What did Nnamdi Kanu say? Nnamdi Kanu made it clear, as a matter of fact, that he is not going to persuade or probably force the people of the Middle Belt to join the Igbos if eventually the United States creates this particular safe zone, that they are going to conduct what he called a referendum. A referendum simply means that people will come, that the Middle Beltans will come together and say, oh, we want to join them, we don't want to join them. It will not be by force, it will not be by any form of coercion or probably force. No, they will come for a referendum, and the communities and the areas in that particular Middle Belt will decide and tell themselves, oh, we want to join the Igbos, we'll have similar ideologies with them, or we don't have similar ideologies with them. which is what Nnamdi Kanu said. So Nnamdi Kanu opened the room, or probably opened the door, that they can actually join the Igbos if eventually the United States creates this thing. But many Igbos are angry. Let me show you the comments of some Igbos. They were not happy. This person said something, which is the reaction I got on this particular video I made yesterday on this YouTube. This person said that suggestion is totally wrong, which is the suggestion which I said if the Igbos were allowed the Middle Beltans, if Nnamdi Kanu and Igbos were allowed the Middle Beltans to join them. This person said that suggestion is totally wrong. This Middle Belt was the people who killed Igbos and Biafrans, not knowing that Fulani leaders and people will come back to unalive them now. Therefore, Middle Belts are many and should form a country of their own. Our ways of life, Biafrans, are different from the Middle Belt. We cannot be with them or the Yorubas. The 4 regions that makes up Nigeria should go peacefully in their separate ways. No joining together with others to avoid future occurrences like what is happening now with the Fulani. So this person is strongly, opposing that Igbos should allow the Middle Beltans to come, that they should go there and form their own country and form their own security. This person said Middle Belt can be their own country. They are big enough. Once they have their own army, they can defend themselves. So people are saying that this particular Middle Beltans should form their own security and form their own country. But the problem with the Middle Belt is that it is mixed, because these Fulani Islamists have actually taken over some of their communities. So it's not like it is purely Christians that are over there. It is a mixture of both Christians, Fulanis and Muslims and all that. So if you allow them there, you will know that the Muslims over there or the Islamic fundamentalists will keep on persecuting them. This is what a whole lot of people are saying. This other person said the Middle Belt should put. This person said they should give us Biafra, including the Middle Belt, inside. By the grace of God, we will defend them, because these 2 regions are the most marginalized region, and it's because of their faith. So when we are together, governing ourselves will not be a problem. So this particular Igbo person is saying that the Middle Belt should come together and join the Igbos, that they will know how to govern themselves because they have similar faith, which is the similar ideology I spoke about yesterday. So you see that some people are for it while some people are against it. This person said they don't need to migrate, they can't abandon their ancestral land. But this is a very flawed statement to make, saying that people cannot abandon their ancestral land. A whole lot of people have abandoned their ancestral land just because they want to survive. Because if you don't, take drastic decisions, you will be wiped off, which is what is actually going on in the Middle Belt. These Islamic fundamentalists are gradually taking over their communities and wiping them off. So many people are saying that instead of them being wiped off because the Nigerian government is not doing enough, that they can literally, as a matter of fact, migrate and start life where they are being protected and secured. So this other person said, I think the division of Nigeria should embrace the pre-colonial system of states, where empires and kingdoms before the colonial British amalgamation of many tribes to the Nigerian country. So this person is speaking more of there should be empires and kingdoms, more like regions. That this region should function as an independent country and all that. That is the best way, that there is no need for these people to come and join the Igbos or anything, that they should function as an empire or state or regions and have their own resource control, security control and all that. But you can see that a whole lot of Igbos are not happy. Some of them are saying, oh, you people joined the Nigerian government to unalive us during the Biafra civil war. Now you want us to help you. We are not going to help you. But like I said, we can't keep on staying or probably sticking to that particular civil war that actually happened. Now, like I said, Nnamdi Kanu equally said that he's going to conduct a referendum for them, that if they are willing to come and join the southeastern part or probably Igbos, fine. But if they're not willing, they can stay in their Middle Belt and continue facing the persecution from this particular Islamic terrorists that are actually ravaging some of their communities. Anyways, on another interesting topic, a whole lot of people, especially Igbos, are concerned about the update on Nnamdi Kanu's appeal court case. Many people are confused. What is the state of the appeal? Now I'm going to explain everything to you, because sooner or later a date will actually be chosen by the appeal court to actually hear the matter. But so far so good. Everything is in place. Everything has been set to order. I did a video a few days ago telling you how Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers and the federal government have actually ratified the entire documents. The appeal court have actually accepted all evidence. Remember that the appeal court is not going to accept new evidence. The appeal court is not going to bring in more witnesses. No, they are only going to rely solely on the evidence, the witness statement, and the witness interrogation that was done or that were done during the high court session at the Federal High Court before the Court of Justice James Omotosho. So what the appeal court is going to do is to check the witness statements, the evidence, and compare and contrast it with the judgment that was given by Justice James Omotosho. So every other thing is in place. It's just for the appeal court to actually put a date. Remember that in the whole process, Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers have actually written to the appeal court why they believe that the judgment given by Justice James Omotosho was flawed or is flawed, that the appeal court should quash and reverse it. And now they've written, it's called the written address. It's a form of written address. They've sent it to the appeal court, and the federal government have actually responded to it. The federal government is countering the argument that Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers are making, saying that Nnamdi Kanu's judgment was right, that Justice James Omotosho did the right thing. So Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers will equally respond again, telling Justice James Omotosho that it is a lie, that what the Justice being Omotosho did was wrong, that all the judgment he gave, the life imprisonment and all that, we are all wrong, that he didn't follow due process and all that. So it is not left for the appeal court to say, okay, from the evidence, from the witness statements, from everything that that we have submitted to the court, this is this, this is that. They have like 3 options. The appeal court can decide to, cancel or probably, cancel the judgment that was given by Justice James Omotosho and set Nnamdi Kanu free permanently, or the appeal court can cancel the judgment and order for a fresh trial, or it can uphold the judgment, meaning they will permanently jail Nnamdi Kanu as in life to life imprisonment, or probably he will now go to the Supreme Court, being the highest court of the country. So these are the 3 options that are left before Justice James Omotosho, before the appeal court. But the fact on ground is that the appeal court is likely to quash this particular matter, because, like I've often said, what Justice James Omotosho did, he was working with emotions. He just hated Nnamdi Kanu. He was angry that Nnamdi Kanu, is a brave man. He's not like Nnamdi Igbo that they can easily buy over. Do you know how many times they wanted to buy him over? He has refused. So he's a man of strong conviction. So Justice James Omotosho is just angry. That was why he was just giving those judgments. Most of the evidence that the federal government brought before the court cannot be substantiated. It cannot even be tied to Nnamdi Kanu. No, it cannot. Rather, some of them we are basically more of hearsay. He broadcasted this, he said this. Saying something is your fundamental of expression. It does not mean you did it. But look at the Boko Harams that are committing all sorts of terrorist activities and all that. They will be recruited. They call it repentance. They say they rehabilitate them. These were people that have unalive people seen with guns, ammunition, weapons. But they will be forgiven. But Nnamdi Kanu, they say, oh, he said this, he said that, he cited. These are mere, comments and probably his freedom of expression, which, everybody has. You have a right to say anything you want to say. So just James Omotosho was just being emotional and angry. He took it personal because of the way Nnamdi Kanu was so fierce, and he didn't even send Justice James Omotosho. He was just telling him the truth. So because of that truth, because of everything he said to him, Justice James Omotosho had to sentence him to life imprisonment. Well, we'll see how things unfold. Like I said, these coming days will be very interesting. Like before this month runs to an end, the appeal court is going to fix a date for the first hearing and section of this particular case. So all fingers crossed. Like I've often said, do well to subscribe to my channel, because here it will be giving you important updates. We'll be giving you important political updates and stories about Nnamdi Kanu and what is actually happening in this country, especially Nnamdi Kanu's court case session. We'll be going to be live and be carrying the court sessions and all that. So do well to subscribe. It will not cost you anything to tap on the subscribe button, so you'll be getting important updates about it. So do well to subscribe, share this particular video, and make it go viral.
Oh yes. This is our brother. He have explained the whole thing the way it is. So everybody have heard everything the way everything is going concerning what Nnamdi Kanu have said, and he still stand on his word that he's not going to drag anybody into any part or into any country where you don't want to belong to. The only option you have is every zone you will do a referendum, a proper referendum that will be conducted by the UN and US. Then that will determine if your nation, if your own part as a tribe is going to join the Biafra nation or is going to remain as one Nigeria. So, but if you come to the people, to the space of into other tribe, other national, they will be claiming that Igbo is dragging them into Biafra. Igbo is doing this, Igbo is doing that. All those things just to talk. None of them is truth. None of them is truth. Everybody who is Igbo knows himself. So it is not issue of force, and it is not issue of fighting people before they will join. Everything Nigeria is doing is just to bring propaganda, just to bring problem, and to bring more division. That is why they divide Igbo in different parts, and they join them into different states in Nigeria, so that let them be a lot of division among of them. And the government, they already seen what is happening, and the suggestion many US delegates is telling the government and is telling Donald Trump the best thing to do is to make a safe zone in the southeast where they can stand and fight these terrorists that is already taking over West Africa, mostly in Nigeria. So without it, there is nothing any human can do to fight against these terrorists. So you need to create a safe zone in the southeast, make them to have their own independence, and stay there and start fighting against this jihad, ISWAP, and rest of them. Because if you come to Nigeria as an Islamic country, they are not going to allow you to have that freedom to do whatever you want to do and to fight against these jihadists that's already taken over all the whole area in Nigeria. Then come to the court section. You know, everything Omotosho did, he did it because of hatred and because of jealousy. He knows what he did here. So he do it because of the payments the government paid him to do such kind of a something. So everybody knows what he did. So we are still expecting the Supreme Court if they are going to do the thing that is right, because you know Nigeria is a very corrupt country. In fact, very, very corrupt. So anything can happen within the judiciary. Anything can happen. You don't trust them. Nobody trusts them. Everybody who follows the court from the day one to the end have already known what will come out from it. But we are expecting the Supreme Court to do the needful. So just watch and see the thing that is happening in Nigeria right now. Just watch what the Fulani terrorists did to the Ondo people, and the issue of Nigerian airstrike, what really happened recently. In fact, very, very painful and very touching. Watch and see by yourself.
All right, we'll come back to that. Let's focus on the main topic of this video. This is Sunday, April 12, 2026. Good evening, everyone. This picture, this news you are seeing on the screen is no longer a news. Everybody on the internet space must have seen the news that the Nigerian Air Force mistakenly bombed civilians in Borno State. This is not the first time. This is not the second time. This is not the third time. This is the eighth time. The eighth time. Count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And all these 8 times are well documented. They compensated one people. That was in Kaduna State, where they bombed civilians. The thing escalated and they compensated them. But the most painful thing among this whole strike is not today's strike. It's not today's strike. The most painful one was the one that happened in Zamfara State, where a group of vigilantes were running after these people they call bandits. They were running to capture them. Nigeria Air Force came and strike the whole vigilante group, only for them to say that it was a mistake. They thought they were Boko Haram people. I have never used fighter jets. I'm not a pilot. I don't know how difficult it is, but I understand that Nigerian Air Force flew to Benin Republic when they had coup attempt to take over the government by the military. And they went there, they strike precisely. No mistake, no casualty. And it was a swift response. But in Nigeria, if terrorists want to attack military base, they will give Air Force, or even Nigeria Army have Air Force wing. They hardly intervene. And when they will intervene, some of the time, they do strike terrorists. I have records upon records where they strike terrorists. Okay. Then, some of the time as well, they will always make mistakes. Now, this mistake they are making, I'm putting it to terms that you will understand. These mistakes they are making, if people don't want to talk about this, I want to talk about it. And that is why when I saw the news, I said, okay, before I will look into it, before I will even talk anything about it, let me see if this Air Commodore Ehime, the spokesperson of the Nigerian Air Force, if he will respond to call. So I placed some calls, messages. He did not answer. I wanted to verify some things. You understand? Now, who is the pilot? Who is the pilot? What do they take? Is the pilot under the influence of alcohol? I think I may say probably no. Then who is the pilot? What is the last call that entered to the pilot's phone? Before the pilot entered the plane, apart from the Air Force people that spoke to him, who talked to him before he entered the plane, these are the things they're supposed to look into. We are talking about security and insecurity here. But unfortunately, if they are going to do investigation, it is still in our hand. This news that is even trending today, tomorrow the news will be over. Nobody will talk about the news again. This is the way things are. Anyway, so many people are reporting that there are 200 civilians that were killed. I spoke to one person who told me that no, it is not up to 200 persons. And the person is not in the place where this thing happened, but he's very close to where this thing happened. So he got the exact information of what happened, and he spoke with people that are there. But he personally was not there. So he told me that the casualties, the civilian casualties to say, is not up to 200. But the exact number, according to him, nobody can give. Even the villagers can't give the exact number. Because you will see hands that are not complete, because every human being is supposed to have two hands, two legs. So you can't even see complete hand. If you see, for example, 400 hands of people, left and right, you know that there are 200 people. If you see 400 legs of people, left and right, you know that there are 200 people there. If you see like 200 heads, you will know that there are 200 heads. But in this scenario, everything's scattered. Like you will see like 150 hands, you will see 300 legs. Like you can't even understand how many are these people. So as of the time of reporting this close to 9 p.m. being Sunday, the number of people, the casualties have not been totally documented. This is so unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. These are the people that Boko Haram are disturbing them. Most of them are paying taxes to Boko Haram, according to the correspondents that spoke to me. Most of them are paying taxes to Boko Haram. Boko Haram molest people, do all sort of things against people, only for Air Force to come and bomb them. It's painful, though. It's painful. Like, the thing is painful. It's painful. Most of the people affected have some family members who went to market. 3 people in the family, 4 people in the family. Like, it doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, as seen as reported, the news is all over the internet space from across the world. You can see it on Al Jazeera and other international news media platform. This is so annoying and so confusing. We have never get it so bad like this. The terrorists is against us, the government against people, the Air Force against people. Like, people are asking, is there any hope? Is there any hope? Anyway, that is why most countries who are poor, who are suffering, they go to church the most. No other option. They have to start resolving to religion, because the government, zero. This, zero. Institution, zero. No help, no hope. They have to resolve to religion. And it's even more worse to just rely on religion. You are this, you pray. You are this, you pray. Even what you are not supposed to pray, you pray. It will render you handicapped. It will render you handicapped. Like, you will just be believing that it is God that will do everything for you. And it's so unfortunate, because that is not the way it's supposed to be. It's so painful. It's paining me the most, and no answers to all these things. I just said not once, not twice, not. This is the 8th time. That is if I am not wrong, if it is no more than, according to the dates, events, number of casualties I documented, this is the 8th times. It doesn't make sense. So it doesn't make sense. Anyway, let's focus on this video again. You see, I saw this video yesterday. This one is on those state again, where the people anytime you see people who owns the communities coming out to cry like this because of the Fulani militia, they call bandits who are terrorists, know that it is over for them. For over the years, people will have mourned about the pending doom of all these, terrorists that are taking over people's homes and villages. As usual, even though as of the time of speaking with you, a lot of people are not still interested, They are going on their daily activities, focusing on the next thing, which is 2027 election. Everybody's fighting their, fellow human beings and so on and so forth. But they leave the real issue. But nobody knows who is going to be the next victim. People should be very careful.
Dúró mọ̀ bá tòrò ṣé ànìkan ní ìyànìkan lọ rí sí ṣóyè báyìí ọ̀pá níjẹta ọ̀pá lánà ti ká mọ́jú mẹ́ta mẹ́rin méjì lọ pa láàárọ̀ ìlú òmùbá mo ṣe já fún wa èyí ṣe é bẹ̀rẹ̀ ọ́ tó yà pa mímọ̀ lóko mo gbé ẹgbẹ́ sí ẹ̀jẹ̀ 6,000 ni ó máa ní ọjọ́ mi à rìpọ́tù ní station ọjà fi fọ́ọ̀nù lọ ọ̀rẹ́ yẹn mú ẹ̀wọ̀n tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣóyè báyìí àdìyàwó ọ̀fẹ́ sọ́ta ṣóyè báyìí ìdí ọjọ́ bára kó bá fún ọ lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kó bá fún ọ lọ́ta sọ́ni bàbá lọ́jọ́ kó bá ẹ̀kọ́ ìgò kùnrin alẹ́ kọrin tí mọ̀ ó kà bá wọn sílẹ̀ ní àbàjọ̀jà o àbàjọ̀bàjà kọ́ọ̀jọ̀ kó bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ àbúrò kó bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ àbúrò ètò ìkọ̀ṣẹ́lẹ̀ rẹ̀ tùmọ̀ nínú ìkọ̀ṣẹ́lẹ̀ rẹ̀ onídàbí nínú ọkọ̀ wà ní ọmọ ìrántí ní àwọn ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìrọ̀lẹ́ ọmọ pàṣẹjọ tó tẹ́sí ọ̀rọ̀ làṣẹ ọjọ́ kọ̀ọ̀ta
Oh yes. This our brother Okocha, he has explained everything according to the way everything is happening in the country. The issue of Borno State, what happened recently, that the airstrike bombard some of the civilian that is in fact hiding themselves, running away from these terrorists, and at the end, the Nigerian Air Force now went there and they destroyed them. In fact, it is very, very painful. You'll be running away from the terrorists and you'll be running away also from the Nigerian soldier. We don't even understand what is really going on in the country. And at the end, they will tell you they are fighting against terrorists. Nobody understands what is happening. That is why you see many, many people focus only on God, praying to God to help. God will help, but people need to rise up to defend themselves and to fight for their rights. That is what is there. Because if you are there waiting and looking for someone somewhere to just come like a magic to defend you or to fight for you, you are on your own. So people need to rise up to defend themselves against this jihadist, terrorists, and this ISWAP that's already got power over everywhere in the country. The other people that is protesting is against the Fulanis terrorists that are really by a lot of people in their home, that is in Ondo State. They are very, in fact, they are in very heavy pain, protesting against it. So calling to the government and calling to those who will help them to come for their rescue concerning what Fulani, what they are doing in their states, that is in Ondo State. And at the end, I will tell you, those people, they are peaceful. We don't understand what is peaceful by the government. Nobody understand the meaning of peace. When the government claim that the country is peaceful, we don't really understand. If peaceful is to go around buying people everywhere, or if peaceful is to go around making people to cry and to suffer, we don't really understand, because at the end they will tell you that Nigeria is peaceful, everywhere is safe, nobody is crying, life is being, at the end, every day you wake up, you must see one news or the other telling you the thing that is happening in the country that is very, very painful. In fact, a lot is going on. Well, I would like to hear your comment about what you think about your thing going on in Nigeria. Like, subscribe, and make sure you let others see what that is happening. We say thank you for watching.